podcast where we're healing from trauma, family ties, and taking accountability for all areas of our life that may have held us back. Welcome. If this is your first time tuning in, I do hope that you've seen the first 6 episodes. We talked about bitterness. We talked about perfection or progression, and I hope that it was a light to you. That's all I want to be, is a light, and you joining my healing process, and I'm joining your healing process. This week is unforgiveness. We are speaking about unforgiveness, and I'm talking to you about how that affects my healing process. And today is Mental Health Monday. Wednesdays we speaking about why it's worth it, and Friday we are finally free on that day. It does not take 3 days to heal from the struggles that we are dealing with, but I wanted to not shorten it, but basically tell you how it affects and why it's worth it, and why would you be free on Fridays, and how it is affecting your health on Mondays. So like I said, today is Mental Health Mondays. This week we're healing from unforgiveness. So to kick it off, I will say, do unforgiveness stunt your growth? And I will say yes, it stunted my growth. As we all know, the trauma that I dealt with, I was facing things and people were telling me, you need to let that go. You need to forgive to move on. And I used to be like, okay, I don't think I should forgive somebody who did so much turmoil in my life, caused turmoil in my life and did a lot of things to me. How can I forgive? How can I let that go? And they was like, if you don't forgive, you won't be able to move on. And I'm like, well, I am moving on. Like, I am doing well, per se. And I am doing the things that I want to do. And I am moving in a place where I can be successful, or I can be happy. You see these? You're not happy. You happy, you're successful, you're moving on. And for me, I wasn't happy, I wasn't successful, I wasn't moving on, because in any given time, I would be using those situations that have affected my life, and I was using them as a crutch. And I was crippled at all times because I didn't forgive that individual. Like, I was holding on to this pain. Now you will say, okay, who do you have to forgive? I have a whole lot of people to forgive. But first I have to forgive myself. I have to forgive myself and take accountability and say, you know what? You have been through this trauma. I'm talking to you and talking to me. You have been through this trauma, but what are you continuing to do to yourself to allow trauma to keep drowning you? You understand what I'm saying? Unforgiveness is like an ocean, and it drowns you, and it's putting you in a place where you cannot move because you're drowning and you're killing yourself. I was killing myself in unforgiveness, and it was just like this hunger of anger, this hunger of you going to feel it. You're going to feel my hell. You hear me? Like, I wanted people to feel my hell. I wanted people to feel my pain. And I was doing nothing but hurting myself with unforgiveness. And I was doing nothing to fix it. Now, you would say, how does this affect my mental health? So for me, when I say on Mental Health Mondays, I'm talking about my depression and my anxiety and, things that I'm dealing with at the moment. And I was in a depressive state dealing with unforgiveness because I was always going backwards. You hear me? Like, I'm going backwards. I'm not processing things the right way. I'm not forgiving that person, and I'm feeding off of that trauma. Like, trauma was, you know, my breakfast, lunch, and dinner, snack, drink, smoothie, whatever you want to see. Trauma was that for me. Unforgiveness was that for me, and I would not let it go. I would not let the person that affected me go. I would not say, you know what, I forgive you. I will let you go, and I will heal over here. And I hope that whatever issues, because people that are hurting us, they have issues as well. Whether we like to realize that or not, we always say hurt people. They literally do. They are dealing with something inside of them. Does it make it right that they are hurting me? No, but they are dealing with something. And I had to be in a place where, okay, they are dealing with something, so I have to give them grace. That's what happens in the healing process. I have to give them grace. Do I have to talk to them? No. Do I have to tell them I forgive them face to face and literally work through the issues that are causing our lives to clash? No, I don't have to do that. But in my heart, in my spirit, I have to forgive you so I can be happy, so I can be successful for real. And I'm talking about happy, like I can just be sitting in this chair and I'm happy, or I can be just content with myself. And that wasn't me for a long time. I wasn't content. I wasn't happy with myself. And unforgiveness was eating that, because I'm like, there is no way I can process this trauma. There is no way I can forgive this person. Do you not know, me talking to people, do you not know what they did to me? And like, yes, I'm listening to your story. Okay, how can I forgive that? How would I be in a place of happiness if I let them go? You understand what I'm saying? I was in this place like, I'm letting them go. I'm letting them go free. I'm not expressing myself. I'm not any like you're expressing yourself to me. I said, but I am not expressing myself to my offender. I'm not expressing myself to the trauma that have caused this platform to become. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, I cannot forget that. And that was just stunning my growth. Growing, we're healing from that. People were saying, you have to forgive, you gotta forgive. And I'm like, I do. And like, you don't. And they were like, okay, talk about it. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. And they're like, so how are you in this forgiving stage? You understand what I'm saying? And I'm like, I don't know. So it was like a tug of war with letting go and letting that person free off of me. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I was finally saying to myself, okay, I will not sit here any longer sad, depressed. I will not sit here any longer and cause myself heartache because somebody didn't apologize to me. I will not cause myself frustration because nobody didn't apologize to me. Let me apologize to myself. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I was doing for me. I was apologizing to myself. I apologize for not letting go of this lock in your heart. My heart was locked, my emotions was locked, and it was just like a defense mechanism that if I let the forgiveness in front of me, I will not be locked anymore. No one, I didn't want to be unlocked. Nobody will see the sensitive. Nobody will see the greatness that I had to offer. And I'm like, no one deserves that. I was in that place too. Like, no one deserves my greatness. No one deserves my happiness. Like, I want to keep it to myself, but what is that serving you? what was that serving me? You understand what I'm saying? And when I say in forgiveness, you have to be more. You have to grow more. You know, it's not going to take one day where you be like, okay, I forgive that person. It takes a very long time. But you have to say in the inside, okay, I'm going to start this forgiveness process. I'm going to start this process, and I'm going to say to myself, I let it go. You know what I mean? Like, I'm letting you go finally. Like, you are not the center block in my life anymore. You cannot hurt me. You cannot give me any more pain. You cannot be in control. Unforgiveness was control. And I was baffled because I'm like, okay, I'm letting this trauma go. So how can I function with people? You understand what I'm saying? Because sometimes the people that have caused trauma, we're still around. So how can I function in that? And I was dealing with, do I still function? And I was dealing with the trouble of relationship. You understand what I'm saying? Like my personal relationships, my professional relationships, and my growing relationships that I'm trying to develop now. I was dealing with unforgiveness, and I didn't want to be in a place where I can't forgive because I am not moving on. Because people would say, you know, Brie, you have this attitude to you. You know, that was their look on me. You know, you had this envy in you. You have this anger in you. And it's like, you don't know me, babe. You don't know what I've been through. And it was like trying to sympathize with me like, I do. But are you going to let it go? You know, I was always talking about my trauma. If people was having conversations with me, they're like, wow, you're strong. Wow, you're this. Wow, you're that. But on the inside and by myself, I was eating myself alive because I was not letting it go. Like, I would say, girl, do this, or, you know, you should do this, or you should do that. But I'm not doing it myself. You need to forgive him, or you need to forgive her, or you need to let your family in. But I wasn't doing that. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm dealing with that now in this forgiving stage, in this letting go trauma stage, and this healing process that I'm always talking about, and gathering my mental health and going on a straight and narrow. But unforgiveness was just eating me alive. Are you hearing me? Like, unforgiveness was just this pole that I was just continuously driving to and crashing into it. It was like, okay, we're forgiving today, so we're gonna not crash. We're gonna reverse, go onto the road, right? And we're gonna roll forgiveness. But I'm always turning back to that pole and crashing into it because I can't let go of this individual. I cannot let this individual get away with anything. How is that possible? You hear me? And it's possible because if not, I will not be talking to you. If not, we will not be on this healing process together. If not, I will not be a light that I hope that I am. I will not be accountable for myself. I will not be accountable for saying, okay. In my first episode, I said, okay. I was on the floor, literally, and I looked at myself and I said, it is time for you to get up. You hear what I'm saying? It is time for you to grow out of your depression. It's time for you to grow out of your trauma. It's time for you to grow out of your anxiety. It's time for you to Take accountability. Stay on the road of forgiveness and stop crashing and killing yourself because unforgiveness is eating you alive. It's eating you alive. And it was eating me alive. And it was just continuous. Like I said, we are in the ocean. I am drowning. And the trauma, meaning isolation, those are sharks, right? Was eating me. Isolation shark was eating me. Depressive shark was eating me. Anxiety shark was eating me. Unforgiveness shark was eating me. And I'm just in this ocean in the middle and I'm drowning and I am getting eaten by sharks. And I'm just trying to figure out, why do I need to continue to be getting eaten by those things when I can be on top in a yacht? Are you hearing me? In that yacht, it sounds materialistic, but in that yacht, you are moving and sailing to the sunlight. You are moving and sailing to true happiness. That is the healing yacht. Like, you are moving and transitioning yourself to a better you. And that was for me. Like, I have to see the sun. I have to see where this healing process go for me. So yes, I have to forgive him, her, them, everybody that did something to me. I have to forgive and I have to let it go, because if not, I'm always going to be in this mental ocean and continue to drown. You know what I mean? And the effects of that and the solution is I'm better. And I'm going to be better, and my life and my future self is waiting for me to grab a hold of that. And unforgiveness does not have a place in my mental health anymore. And I do hope that this helps you. As I said, people that are going through trauma right now, it is a new for you. Like, it is going to be okay for you. It's okay for me now. You're gonna have a way out. Even if you, like I said, you need to be in a progression state of mind. You need to know that you can grow out of this, and it is going to be okay. And I do hope that you stay with me in this healing process with We're Healing From That podcast. I do hope that this was a light to somebody. I will see you next time. See ya.